ship to be unloaded. It was bound for the Middle East, but Australian officials ordered the ship to return over concerns about Houthi attacks on vessels in the Red Sea. Authorities are refusing to let the 16,000 sheep and cattle off because of biosecurity concerns. The animal activists believe the livestock are suffering increasing stress and fatigue. Some athletes in Nunavut are worried they'll have to miss this year's Arctic Winter Games. Alaska is hosting the event in March, but with the Games only 5 weeks away, some 70 athletes are still struggling to secure a passport. As Nick Murray reports, the issue is bringing attention to challenges with Service Canada in the territory.
Nunavut has nearly 300 athletes ready to compete in Alaska in March, but a quarter of them might not make it. Nunavut MP Lori Edelhout raised the issue in the House of Commons this week. She says part of the problem is Nunavut only has 3 Service Canada centres, none that process passport applications.
Families are now forced to pay thousands of dollars to fly down south to get their passports expedited.
Edelhout tells CBC News that her staff was helping athletes by having passport applications mailed to her office. But she says in November, Service Canada red flagged her office and barred her staff from bringing applications in person.
Another huge barrier is the correspondence are sent in English and French only, so there are many Inuit that don't read either of those languages.
In a statement, the Office for Citizen Services Minister Terry Beach says they're aware of the challenges and aim to process mail-in applications in 20 days. Nick Murray, CBC News, Iqaluit.
The governor of Britain's central bank is trying to dispel fears about the prospect of artificial intelligence in the workplace. Andrew Bailey says he doesn't believe AI will lead to mass job losses.
Yes, there are risks with it. Yes, there is great potential with it. I don't see it as a mass destroyer of jobs. I think, history, I'm an economic historian before I became a central banker, look a lot at this question. I think economies adapt, jobs adapt, and we learn to work with it. And I think, you get a better result by people with machines than with machines on their own.
Almost a third of UK businesses have told the bank they expect to see gains in productivity. Sesame Street's Elmo went on social media this week and asked people how they were doing. He got a huge response from a lot of sad people, and it didn't exactly leave him tickled.
Elmo's not really sure. Elmo was surprised because Elmo didn't realize that when you ask someone how they're doing, you have to be ready because maybe someone's not doing well or maybe somebody is. But it's an important question to ask, and Elmo's learned a lot about that.
U.S. President Joe Biden praised the Muppet for promoting emotional well-being. And that is your World This Hour. For CBC News, I'm Mike Miles.
From CNBC Tech Check at 2:12 p.m. yesterday.
Hey, I'm Deirdre Bosa, and this is your CNBC Tech Check briefing. Elon Musk says Tesla will hold a shareholder vote on whether to transfer the company's state of incorporation from Delaware to Texas. Musk polled his followers on X on the potential move, with more than 80% voting in favor of it. The billionaire's post follows a judge in Delaware voiding his $56 billion pay package from 2018. Musk already has a large stake in Texas. Tesla's headquarters and Gigafactory are in Austin, and SpaceX and the Boring Company also have operations there. MasterCard says it's launching a new generative AI model that could boost fraud detection by up to 300%. The payments giant told CNBC that the tool will allow banks to better assess suspicious financial transactions on its network. Data will help the AI understand relationships between merchants and predict where fraud is taking place by using a cardholder's purchase history. And Hulu joins Netflix and Disney Plus in cracking down on password sharing. The streamer announced that unless otherwise permitted by account holders' membership plan, users will not be able to share their account with people outside of their household. Hulu could also limit or terminate accounts if users are found to be in violation of the agreement. The new terms took effect last week for new customers, and they will go into effect on March 14th for existing subscribers. That's all from One Market Studio in San Francisco. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
From DW News Brief at 3:03 a.m. today.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. At least 3 people have been killed and hundreds more injured after a gas explosion and fire in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Officials said a truck loaded with gas canisters exploded, setting nearby businesses and homes alight. Firefighters have extinguished the blaze, and an investigation into the cause of the incident is underway. U.S. President Joe Biden has imposed sanctions on Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank after a wave of violence. The measures include Palestinians. The Israeli Prime Minister's office has criticized the sanctions as unnecessary and described the vast majority of settlers as law-abiding. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said the U.S. is preparing significant action in response to the recent deadly drone attack on U.S. forces in Jordan. Sunday's drone strike targeted a remote U.S. military base in northeastern Jordan known as Tower 22. Washington has blamed the attack on Iran-backed militants. You're watching DW News from Berlin. You'll find much more on our website at dw.com.
base. So most ski hills to the north have about an 80 or more centimeter base. But no new snow is expected, obviously, with a nice run of sun. So we'll clear out for the Friday morning, highs around 2. 3 for us on Saturday, 5 for us on Sunday with lots of sunshine, just a few clouds, mostly mid to high level cloud. A little bit more cloud is expected Sunday evening, Sunday night, and into early Monday morning. But then it clears out as another area of high pressure builds back in. So more of the same, if you will. 3 for us Monday, 2 for us on Tuesday, a few passing afternoon clouds. Otherwise, it's going to be bright and sunny. Lots of sunshine expected for Wednesday with a high near 4. 5 for us on Thursday with increasing clouds by the late evening. And that will lead us to a fairly cloudy day next Friday and into Saturday and Sunday of next weekend. But in terms of active weather, maybe a few showers, and that is it. So there's no snow in our forecast. The cold air is absent. It doesn't look like until the second half of February that we start to get back into more of a typical winter-like weather pattern. So if you're not a fan of winter-like weather, enjoy the break.
You're watching Toronto's breaking news, CP24. NHL All-Star festivities kicked off here in Toronto, including the draft, which was held last night. Those details coming up.
It's odd how, in an instant, things can transform, slipping out of balance into free fall.
This is happening, people.
Where there are so few certainties, as we navigate a future unknown. I'm glad I found stability amidst it all. Gold. Standing the test of time.
You're suffering from depression, your disability claim has been denied, and now your employer threatens to fire you. Think this can't happen? Think again. My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability claim has been denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878 or pound LTD on your cell phone. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or pound LTD. Come on, Snow, let's go.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Here we see a local burrito eater in their natural habitat. With freshly made salsa and guac and a variety of protein options, the $7.99 burrito of the day is an important part of the burrito eater's diet. $7.99 burrito of the day at Quesar, limited time only.
I've seen a lot of valleys, I've seen a lot of peaks, I've seen the bitter with the sweet victory and defeat. Sometimes I fell, but a voice kept saying, son, stick to your vision, keep the composition. Seen a lot change the game.
Donate at lovescarborough.ca.
The NHL All-Star festivities are underway in Toronto, including the draft.
From Calgary, Alberta, by way of Stockholm, Sweden, William Nylander.
Of the Leafs, William Nylander was the first pick for Team Matthews, which is captained by Austin Matthews. Morgan Riley is assistant captain, and Justin Bieber is their celebrity rep. Team Matthews also drafted another Leaf, Mitch Marner. The Professional Women's Hockey League Showcase was also held at Scotiabank Arena as part of the NHL All-Star Weekend. It was a 20-minute game split into 2 periods and held in a 3-on-3 format with players from all 6 PWHL teams. Savannah Harmon had a hat trick and assisted 2 assists to lead Team King to a 5-3 win over Team Kloss. Now, a little earlier in the morning, fans had a chance to see players up close and personal as the NHL Fan Fair kicked off at the Convention Center. And the event features interactive attractions along with displays and a chance to have your picture taken with the Stanley Cup. One of Formula One's most prolific drivers is now changing teams. 7-time F1 champion Lewis Hamilton will leave Mercedes at the end of the year and join Ferrari. The Italian team says Hamilton has agreed to a multi-year deal. Mercedes says that Hamilton has activated a release clause in the 2-year contract extension he signed last year. You're watching Toronto's breaking news, CP24. We'll continue to follow a breaking story out of York Region, where police are investigating after 3 people were found dead inside of a Richmond Hill home. Thank you for joining us tonight. The top stories in the city are straight ahead. Friday, February the 2nd, 5:30 in the morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Courtney Hales. I'm in for Jennifer Shung.
And I'm Bakari Savage. I'm in for Nick Dixon. Here's what you need to know this morning. The York Police Homicide Unit is investigating after 3 people were found dead inside a Richmond Hill home.
2 young children are safe after the car they were in was stolen in the West End as their mom was loading groceries into the vehicle.
At Star Power at Scotiabank Arena last night as a team draft was held. It's all part of the NHL All-Star festivities. And, you know, we're talking about the NHL All-Star Weekend. People are coming in town from all over the country.
Yeah, it's exciting.
But the weather has to hold up.
I mean, it's mild, right, Bill? And maybe some sun. I know you were talking about that yesterday.
It's kind of like when the Stanley Cup playoffs are happening in June. It's like everyone starts putting on shorts. We're midway through, but it does feel like spring much more than early February. And maybe you appreciate that, maybe you don't. I know maybe some frustrated skiers, you kind of get those spring skiing conditions, but you do need temperatures dropping below freezing overnight, especially around the ski resorts that have those snowmaking machines to at least get a base to give you those fun spring skiing conditions. And we'll kind of get that rolling forward. Several nights it will fall to the mid-minus single digits overnight, but then really rebound during the day. So this morning we're already starting to get that clearing underway. With clearing skies, you get some radiational cooling. Cloud cover acts like an insulating blanket, and while we get this cooling, we will see the temperature probably dip another couple of degrees to -1, and then as the sun comes up and you give it an hour or so for those rays to become more focused, we'll climb to about 2 or 3 for an afternoon high. Normal high is -2.2, so well above that. We're just, I think, getting used to this unusual warmth for this time of year. I'll take it through the full extended long-range forecast, but for now, I'll send it over to Maytel for a look at the roads. Good morning, Maytel.
Good morning. So far, not much happening out there. Looks good along all your major routes. The 401 through the city, wide open. Heading out of the Durham region, still looks good. There's a shot of the 401 westbound. Heading through the Salem stretch, looks good. All the way in towards Scarborough. And right in towards the middle of the city, no issue at all. The DVP, the Gardner, that's still moving well off of the highways. One thing worth noting, there's a collision at Lakeshore and 3rd. Some lanes are blocked off. Sending it back to you guys.
Maytel, thank you. Now to one of our top stories. York Regional Police Homicide Unit still investigating after 3 people were found dead inside of a Richmond Hill home.
Officers were called to the home on McKay Drive near Yonge Street and Carville Road. This was yesterday afternoon around 4:15 for a wellness check. The victims were located inside. They were pronounced dead on the scene. Police haven't released their identity or commented on their relationship to each other. Investigators believe that this was an isolated incident. They say that there's no threat to public safety. Neighbors say that the owners of the home live on the main floor and they rent out the basement unit to a young family with a baby.
I think this is terrible. I was so scared I called my son over because my son talks to them too all the time.
I think it's absolutely awful. I don't think that it's a good thing. It's certainly not comforting, and it's very scary.
And witnesses or anyone with information, you are asked to contact the York Police Homicide Unit or Crime Stoppers.
Man has life-threatening injuries after a stabbing near Dundas and Bloor. Police responded just after 7 o'clock over reports of a stabbing and found a man in his 40s with stab wounds. There's no word on his condition this morning. A 21-year-old woman has been arrested and a male also arrested in this case. He was taken to hospital with minor injuries.
A man in his 50s has life-threatening injuries in another stabbing, this one near Broadview and Cosburn. It happened in the Hillside Drive and Don Valley Drive area. Police said that they believe the victim and suspect knew each other, but the motive's under investigation.
Man has died after being hit by a vehicle in North York. Police say they were called to the Jane and Spen Valley area at about 7 last night, and when they arrived, they found a man in his 50s who had been struck. He was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries and pronounced dead a short time later. Police say the driver remained at the scene, but there is still no word if charges will be laid.
And frightening moments for a mother yesterday afternoon when her car with her 2 young children inside, it was stolen near Western Road in Lawrence. Police say that the woman was loading groceries in the vehicle when 2 suspects jumped in and took off.
Responded immediately to the area, and a short while later were able to locate the vehicle, forced it over to the side of the road, and the occupants fled on foot. After a short foot pursuit, 1 male was arrested, a 13-year-old, and a short time later, another male, a 16-year-old, was located hiding.
Police say that 1 child in the car was 5 years old, the other just 4 months. They were found safe, with the one taken to hospital for treatment of minor injuries.
Peel police still investigating damage at a mosque in Mississauga earlier this week as hate-motivated crime. They say an individual was caught on camera at around 5 in the morning on Monday throwing rocks through the windows of the Hazama Aloom Islamic Center along Queen Street North. Investigators still appealing for any help to identify the suspect. They would like to hear from anyone who had a dash camera or who was in the area between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Monday.
And the National Council for Canadian Muslims released a statement reading in part, quote, police are investigating this as a hate crime. That this incident occurred on January 29th, when many of us were reflecting on the anniversary of the Quebec City shooting, and how best to honor its victims and survivors serves as a chilling reminder that our mosques are still not safe, that violent Islamophobia is still alive in our neighborhoods.
And the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, also taking to social media, writing this: places of worship should be safe spaces for community members to gather. The attack against a Mississauga mosque earlier this week is cowardly, disturbing, and unacceptable. I condemn it in the strongest terms possible. Islamophobia has no place in any of our communities.
And the sexual assault case of 5 players from Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey Team is set to go before a London, Ontario court. It's going to happen Monday. A court document shows Carter Hart, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Michael McLeod, and Alex Foreman are each charged with 1 count of sexual assault. And the document shows McLeod is also facing an additional charge of sexual assault for, quote, being a party to the offense. And it says that the charges relate to an alleged sexual assault on a person identified only as EM. After June 19, 2018, lawyers for each of the players have said that their clients will defend themselves against the allegations.
The Supreme Court set to release its ruling on the Ford government's attempt to keep mandate letters to ministers secret. The case stems from the Ontario government's decision to deny the CBC's request under the province's Freedom of Information law for ministerial mandate letters written after the 2018 election. The Information and Privacy Commissioner disagreed, ordering the government to disclose them, and 2 levels of Ontario courts have also sided with the public broadcaster.
And Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow is promising to maintain key city services, address the shortage of affordable housing, and deliver much-needed transit projects. All of that and more was included in Chow's first draft budget that was unveiled yesterday. And Chow's promising to fund the construction of the Scarborough Busway by reallocating capital funds, as well as hiring more TTC safety workers. The budget includes $50 million for urgent state-of-good repair work, which will help fix potholes and help with upkeep in parks and public spaces. The mayor also focused on acquiring more affordable housing units and funding the shelter system.
We desperately need Toronto to get back on track. I'll be blunt. I inherited a financial mess, a $1.8 billion hole in the budget. It was created by the cost of the pandemic and a past financial strategy that didn't face reality and avoided making hard choices. We can't avoid hard choices anymore. So I'm fixing the financial mess and getting Toronto back on track.
Mayor Chow has tabled a 9.5% property tax hike, which comes in 1% lower than staff had recommended. Chow also limiting the increase for multi-residential buildings in order to protect renters. Former Toronto Mayor and CTV News municipal government specialist John Tory says that he believes the current municipal financial model is not sustainable anymore.
I don't think the police budget issue is over. I mean, you can't say to the police, we're having twice as many demonstrations, we have twice as many people for car thefts, we have twice as many people for hate crimes, we want to hire more officers, we want more officers in the neighborhood, and then say to them that we're not going to give you the 1.7%, well below inflation, that they asked for. So I don't think that's over. But look, I'm not going to get into any kind of a game because I think it's unseemly. I don't think people want it. They don't want to pay attention to it about saying who did what to who. The model is broken. I did the best I could. I kept tax increases low and kept services, being improved over time. She's trying to do the same thing.
Mayor Chow elected to stick with what city staff recommended, an $8 million increase in the police budget compared to last year. That's more than $12 million less than what the Toronto Police Board had approved and asked for. This is a move Police Chief Myron Demkew has warned could put public safety at risk.
My command team will be looking at some very difficult choices to ensure we have enough officers available for emergency response. This may be the most significant budget conversation we've had in the city as it relates to public safety and our capacity to actually meet any reasonable expectations of our requirements by legislation. We need to be strategic. We need to be responsible. And I look forward to having continued conversations in the coming days about the challenges we face in the Toronto Police.
And keep it here this morning because Mayor Olivia Chow is going to join us. It'll be in the 7:30 half hour. She's going to talk about the budget. All right, well, as part of the NHL All-Star festivities, a team draft, it was held last night.
Calgary, Alberta, by way of Stockholm, Sweden, William Nylander.
You can hear the audience reacting to that one. So the Leafs' William Nylander was the first picked here for Team Matthews, captained by Austin Matthews. Morgan Riley, the assistant captain here. Justin Bieber is their celebrity rep. Team Matthews also drafted another Leaf, Mitch Marner. So familiar faces on that team for sure.
And then, Courtney, also the Professional Women's Hockey League Showcase was held at Scotiabank Arena as part of, again, NHL All-Star Weekend. Lots of festivities. It was a 20-minute game split into two periods and held a 3-on-3 format with players from all 6 PWHL teams. Savannah Harmon had a hat trick and added 2 assists to lead Team King to a 5-3 win over Team Kloss.
And earlier, fans had a chance to see players up close as the NHL Fan Fair kicked off over at the Convention Center. This event features interactive attractions, that is, along with displays with a chance to have your picture taken with the Stanley Cup. The ticketed Fan Fair will run through Sunday. I'm sure that will be pretty popular over the weekend too, Bakari, because fans are here, as you mentioned, from right across the country. I'm sure many coming from the States too. This is a big draw for Toronto.
Yeah, and the big thing is there's something for everyone to do, like some of those NHL player cards. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. People are going to look forward to it. I'm excited for it. I feel like there's a buzz in the city, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move along to John Moore, who is going to join us right after this break, talk about some of the hot topics of the morning. Certainly a lot to talk about. That includes a raccoon that knocked out some power for residents really throughout the downtown core overnight. Not something you hear about every day, but it had a huge impact. So we'll discuss that and the other top stories of the morning. Stay with us.
Stream the hottest shows from the iconic
Clear Eyes, Full Hearts can't lose.
to the groundbreaking. We've got the series
Walk of Shame
we can't get enough of.
You have no idea.
On Crave. Plan starting at $9.99 a month.
Rolex! Buy cash for your used or new Rolexes. Bring me your Submariners, your Yachtmasters, your GMTs, your Dates or your Datejusts. Oliver Jewelry pays the highest prices for Rolexes.
OliverJewelry.ca.
Oh, yeah!
It's odd how, in an instant, things can transform. Slipping out of balance into free fall.
This is happening, people.
Where there are so few certainties. As we navigate a future unknown. I'm glad I found stability amidst it all. Gold. Standing the test of time.
In the ancient landscapes of Australia's Kakin, the two hills were the screen. But after became painful. Here the visible was missing, and they were both facing horrifying. I've seen a lot of valleys, I've seen a lot of peaks, I've seen the bitter with the sweet victory and defeat. Sometimes I fell, but the voice kept saying, son, stick to your vision, keep the composition. Seen a lot of shame in the game, seen a lot of pain in the fame, seen a lot of highs and lows, but that's just the way life goes.
Pleasant morning to you, my child.
Pleasant morning to you too, Dad.
How are you this wonderful Friday morning?
I am wonderful.
Jesus. I am on top of creation looking over.
That's correct.
Correct. I claim it in the great possibility of it, and it's going to be fine. It is well. It is well. And I love the weather. You could smell him. Smell him. Jesus. Smell him. Hiding in the... Let me see if we can find it. I know the song.
I don't know where these songs are coming from, but I'm going along with it.
Let's see if I can find hiding in there.
Hiding in the... So what they say about outside now? I didn't turn on any radio.
It's the morning always chilly, but it's gonna warm. It's gonna warm up and sunny too. You want? I should have good hug with man eat him. I should good hug because the poor kid and them run him down. I like how better rap come back and run off time. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, God. Ronald.
Wix is your platform to perform on.
That's it to know. Yes, that's it.
Dad, can you text Sister Pearl
Said I will
trying to get some mix up here, rectify.
Okay. Can I get Sister Pearl number?
Yes.
I'll give her a call. Text it to me, please.
All right. Messed up another song. Let me see, I messed it up. Oh, Calvin, no, it's just... Okay. Yeah, I will get it for you, man.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the song I'm looking for. That's what I